social studies. Thank you. All right. We are going to do a little review. I want you to open up to page 102. Not 102. Yeah, 102 to 131. So we're just going to do another review, and I'm just going to see how well you all do. So you do indeed need to make sure you understand the lines of longitude and latitude. Hint, hint. So look in your manual or textbook. Who wrote the national anthem? M. Yes. So what happened in the War of 1812 to the White House? James. Yes. What was saved from the White House? Tyson.
A picture of
Picture of what?
George Washington.
Yes. And who saved the picture of George Washington from the fire? Do you remember, Tyson?
I don't remember, but I know it was the president's wife.
You're correct. You are very correct on that. Does anyone remember her name? Oh, you remember now? What's her name?
Dolly Madison.
Dolly. How can you forget the name Dolly?
Yeah. It's a dolly. It's Dolly.
I don't know why that just makes me giggle. Dolly. So yes, Dolly Madison, who is the wife of President who? Which president? Yes. Jeremiah, did you have a question?
No.
What's that?
No.
All right. Speaking of president, who was president at this time of 1812, the War of 1812? Ella. James Madison. What else was he known for doing? He wrote a little paper, just a little paper that had something to do with who we are as a nation. McKenna.
He helped write the Constitution.
He wrote the Constitution, and what else? The Constitution and the Bill Toby. Bill of Rights. Very good. All right, now you're probably going to have to look in your book for this, unless if you know it, I'm going to be really impressed. What is the American system? What is the American system? Jonathan. It had 3 parts to it. Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan. 3 parts to it. What were the? Can you name all 3?
A national bank, a and a police transportation.
Very good. What is a tariff? Cole.
A tax on ships.
A tax on what? Not on ships. It is a tax. You are correct in that, but what are you doing? I keep hearing clapping. Please sit. So a tariff is a tax on what? James.
Import and export.
Yeah, it's on goods. So they do at that time of 1812, ships were the main use or the main way to bring in goods. But it's the goods in and of itself that the ships are bringing in that they're taxed on. Okay, so it's a tax on goods. All right, very good. What is a bill? What is a bill? Boy.
Is a statement of which that Congress wants to become a law?
Yes, very good. Taken before Congress to make law. So if there's a bill, what is a veto? What is a veto? Emma, what's that? Yes, very good. So, we have a very definitive divided country at this time where we're studying. We have the northern and the southern, and they're very different. Very, very different. What is one difference between the north and the south? Helen.
The north want high tariffs and the south want
So you said the north wanted what tariffs? Yes. You are correct. Because the southern countries, oh my goodness, states, were growing what? M. Yes, predominantly cotton. And because our manufacturing systems were not up and going as well as they are now, what did they have to do with the cotton? What did they do to get material made from the cotton? James. Yes. So they don't want high taxes because they have to ship their goods, whereas we in the South or the North wanted taxes because they were shipping things in. So it was a matter of how the influx and the flux would go. So Northerners did not want or wanted low, or Southerners wanted low, North wanted high. What is something else different about the North versus the South? Owen.
The north focused on shipping and manufacturing, and the south grew crops and farms and plantations.
Yes. So if you would compare a city like Chicago, Illinois, still is, and back in the 1800s it was starting to be a very predominant manufacturing area. Lots of manufacturers. And then if you would go south to, let's say, Georgia or Mississippi, huge plantations. So very, very different ways of making money. Very different. What is another? How did they make their money? Kind of piggybacks with what Owen just said. So the North did predominantly what, and the South did predominantly what? To make money. What was their main source of income? McKenna. I just said the South grew what, and the North did what? That is the vast difference of how they made money. How did they make money? Tyson. How did the South make money?
The south did more manufacturing.
You wanna think about that?
I got it. They grew mostly cotton and crops.
Yes. So the Southerners were making a vast amount of money by growing mainly cotton and tobacco. But cotton was the big, because why was cotton so important? What would cotton not do? So if you had to send cotton into a ship versus, let's say, pumpkins, why would cotton be better than pumpkins? Kind of an odd, because they probably kill pumpkins, but Owen.
They will float.
No. Cole.
So cotton won't rot and pumpkins will.
Yes. Cotton is not, it doesn't rot. It's a fiber, basically, that you pick and then you make into cloth. So it's not something that is very sustainable over a period of time. Under very difficult situations, it's not going to rot for the most part. So that was huge. That's why cotton was so popular to grow, because it was very economically sound. And so if cotton is what is growing predominantly in the South, what are they doing in the North?
Manufacturing.
Yes. and shipping. Very good. What is the Monroe Doctrine? What is the Monroe Doctrine? Ella.
The Monroe Doctrine, also that, European nations are not really, America.
What can you say that again? I think I heard it, but I'm not sure.
The Monroe Doctrine was, that, European nations are not really.
Yes. So as we are growing as a country, we are wanting the Europeans to stay out, basically. Go home and leave us alone. So the Monroe Doctrine basically was a plan to keep the European nations out of our colonies. So that is the Monroe Doctrine. I'm trying to think, you guys are doing really good here. What was one reason we fought Great Britain in 1812? True or, let's do it this way, true or false? One reason America went to war with Great Britain in 1812 was because they were supplying weapons to Indians. True or false? True or false? And they were doing it in a particular other country, but true or false? Were British supplying weapons to Indians? Tessa?
True.
Yes, and where was this occurring? In what country? Britain was in this country supplying Indians in America with weapons. Cole?
Canada.
Yes, very good. So then we also kind of got into a bit of a skirmish with Canada too, because they were allowing the British to supply weapons. So everyone was just mad at each other. We could just get along.
Madness.
What is the Erie Canal? What is the Erie Canal? Winchine.
The Erie Canal is a canal that connects Lake Erie to Central City.
Well, yes, but the Erie Canal, look on page 116. The Erie Canal connected something in specifically to a city to something else. You are right, though. A canal connects, it's a way to connect land within land-based areas using water canals to use as transportation. But the Erie Canal was significant in that it did something on a larger scale than smaller canals. McKenna?
It connected the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes. Very good. Two very large bodies of water. The Erie Canal connected them, which really helped with what? What did that help immensely with what? Emmy?
Transportation.
Yes. Moving goods from point A to point B in a more effective way, and more economical. Very good. So the War of 1812 ended. They signed their peace treaty. What was significant about the end result? What happened? It was very amicable. What happened after the War of 1812? Toby?
America gained more respect.
What's that?
America gained more respect.
They did. Yes, they did. That is something I wasn't thinking of right now, but yes, they did. And why did we gain more respect?
Because we fought good.
Yes. We were fought wisely. We were smart. We were very brave. So yes, we did gain. Because remember, America was kind of thought of as the little baby brother and sister. We weren't taken very seriously by the British because we were such a new country. So, but how is everything resolved? Did we lose land? Did England lose land? What was the interesting part about 1812 peace treaty? James?
Everything went back to normal.
Everything reverted back to the way it was prior to the war.
Well, it doesn't normally happen that way.
No, it does not. You are absolutely correct. That's why that was a very unusual ending to a war. Where they signed the peace treaty, they just said, okay, well, we're going to go back home to Britain and you're going to stay here and let's just everything's just going to remain the same. So, yes, Helen.
All captured ships were returned.
And all captured ships were returned.
Yay.
Very nice.
Yay.
It was a very nice end to the war. It's too bad they had to fight the war in the first place, but they did.
Can't they get along?
Exactly. Can't we all just get along?
Why can't it just be this one?
What kind of community is outside the city and has towns and are smaller than cities? Manufacturing, urban, or rural? Rural. I cannot say that word. I absolutely. Rural. Oh my goodness, I'm glad it's Friday. Emma. So what kind of community is outside the city and has towns that are smaller than cities?
Rural.
The word I can't say. Rural. I swear, I don't know what's going on with my tongue. What is a term for a change that is made to the Constitution? Is that a veto? Is it amendment? Or is it a bill? If you want to make a new law, if you want to do something with the Constitution, what do you have to set before the Congress? James? A what? Amendment? Amendment? Yes. And what is the man-made waterway that connects two bodies of water? We talked about this already. We talked about the Erie. What? Olivia?
Canal.
Yes. Very good. I wanted to... What fort was attacked in 1812? What fort? Which happened to be very close, it coincided very closely with the burning of the White House. We were not successful at defending the White House. We didn't put up much of a fight, but we did put up a big fight here. And we're victorious to defend it. Grayson. Fort McHenry. So that was a battle that gained Americans a lot of respect. So what is going on, I think is something that we need to circle back and talk about, is what was also going on during the War of 1812 in Europe. Who was fighting at this time? Kind of right before the buildup of 1812, somebody else, two large countries in Europe were fighting. Jonathan. England and France.
Who's going to win on that?
So they had that going on. So what was the aspect of that made us angry, the United States? What was going on that kind of triggered the United States to get a little upset? What could we not do? Tyson.
A trade.
Trade. Who could we not trade with?
The two things because they would get angry because they were fighting, and if you trade with the other people's supplies, the other one will get angry. If they saw that, they would blow up your ship.
That's right. So because France and England, very well said, were fighting a war, they therefore did not want us to trade, America to trade with France. Britain didn't. And France did not want us trading with Britain. So it was a mess. We couldn't trade. We couldn't make any money. They were preventing us to make money. So that was what led up. We saw that movie, it seems like ages ago. The beginning of the war, a lot of it was in the ocean. On the ocean, the ships were fighting, and they were taking possession of our goods. We weren't making any money, and we were tired of it. And again, did England take us seriously at this time? No, they did not. Not at all. So that it was also is what led up to that. Now, before President Madison did not believe in having a large military. Do you remember that from the last chapter? He did not believe in having we should have a large standing military, meaning our military should not be big and large unless there's a war. What doesn't make sense with that? I mean, we proved that it worked, but it wouldn't be sustainable. Meaning you can't have that type of mindset over a long period of time. What is James?
Because people won't want to join.
Well, people may not want to join, but what happens if you don't have a sustainable military? What can't you do? It'd be like you not going to school and then coming to take a test at the end of the year and expected to pass.
You wouldn't be able to train.
Bingo! And I think the War of 1812 also showed that having a well-trained military was good. They were able to defend Fort McHenry. They won some battles in the ocean, the Navy did. So they proved that having a strong military was beneficial to the country. Because if you have a strong military, what can you do for the country? Tyson.
If other countries are clashing with you, you could defend the country.
Defend the country. Isn't that what our military does? They defend and protect us.
Yeah.
And does it take a lot of training to do that? It does. A lot. So I think that too was something that came out of the War of 1812. The realization that having a strong military was a benefit to our country's safety and well-being. And that's to this day. We have a very strong military. What does patriotism mean? Ella. Yes. Is it patriotic to fly the American flag? Yes. We haven't talked about her, but we have amongst us someone who made the first American flag. Who made the first American flag, Emmy? Betsy Ross. It looked very different than our flag now. But she made our first American flag. I do believe we'll probably learn more about her next
I think
chapter.
it's on the book over her. She's like holding a flag. Oh yeah.
What's that?
I mean, book.
Oh, right, yes. She made our, I'm assuming we talked about Betsy Ross. She's rather significant. All right, you guys have got a good grasp on this. So what I think you ought to do, now you don't have to take it home for the weekend, because I do want you to take home your wax museum and work on that over the weekend.
Okay.
So that, and we will do more review. I do believe, since we did so well today, that we will have our test on Tuesday. So the candy will be thrown on Monday. And then the test will be taken on Tuesday, unless something comes up with the schedule. So what I want you to focus on this weekend, since your posters are due on next Friday the 14th, is your wax museum. Raise your hand if you are close to being done with your research paper.
I need one more.
Okay, so
I just have about.
you need to get that done. So if you are not done with your research paper, that needs to be focused on. However, your poster items also. Now, I went through everything that you need to have on your poster. Before we leave today, I want you to make sure you have all of your poster sheets that you can take home with you over the weekend. I did not tell anyone to pack up. I don't know what we're doing. I did not say to put anything away. I did not say to take anything out. We are still talking about social studies. Did I tell you to put social studies away? No. I've got people in the back who are packing up, who are getting their lunch bags out. Now, did you all this morning, when I went through all of the Wax Museum poster items, did you all physically go into your folder to see if you have them all?
Yes.
If you want to take any of those colorful sheets that Helen so graciously is going to share with you, and if you want to use them for your poster, raise your hand if you would like to use some of those. Okay, Olivia, go and grab what you want. So, Wax Museum is going to be needed to take home this weekend to work on. I don't normally assign homework for the weekend, but this weekend is going to be an exception. You have to get this done. I mean, you need to focus on the poster because that's due on Friday, but you also have got to get this research paper done.
The blue is gone already.
Okay. Who else would like to go check out the paper? McKenna and Em. I'm just gonna go. Is there still a lot left? Keep in mind, if there's not, then you could go to Michael's and get some of your own. So you all physically looked into your folder, you have everything. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, because if you go home this weekend without something, you had plenty opportunity to get all of these sheets from me. I have them all right here. So please don't leave today without a sheet. All right? It is of the utmost importance that you are organized. I can't go home with you and do this for you. All right, James and Ella. Yes.
I have a comment.
Yes.
In the manual on 117, it talks about when that guy escaped from slavery in a box.
No way. Are you kidding?
Where?
117 in this.
117.
Henry Clay. Do you remember the story about Henry Clay, how he escaped in the box for days? He's actually in our manual. Very nice. That is on 117. That is so fun. All right.